If you're a residential real estate agent earning $200,000 a year and you want to grow your passive income, this show's for you. Learn the secrets other agents use and hear from experts in our field in order to guide you along your journey to investing in assets like apartment communities so that you can turn your commissions into cash flow. I'm Randall McLeod. Let's go, baby. All right, welcome back. Today, I'm joined with Josh Moss. He is an awesome top producing agent out of the Atlanta market, and he's with Engel Volkers. We have an awesome conversation talking about mindset. We talk about his number one investing strategy, which is pretty cool, and it's not something that you would think it would be. And then we go and talk about his background in construction and how he got into real estate in general through being in a real estate family. So really good conversation, give you some tips on things that you should be implementing in your business and some strategies to win more business as well. So as always, thanks for joining. If you're getting some value out of the show, please go on, give us a rating, give us a review. We really appreciate that. And I want to remind you as well about going to commission2cashflow.com, commission, the number 2, cashflow.com. And that you can download a bunch of documents and that sort of thing that I've used in the past to flip houses, to contract, to wholesale, to do sub-2, a lot of different things in there, along with a high level just course in general about some of the different investing strategies in the single family world. What we're about to add to that as well, once we get it all fully recorded, it's going to be a very high level introduction to syndications and to funds. I've talked about it on the show a number of times, but I think if you can go there, get a little bit more information, again, it's free, and just learn more about syndications and how it can benefit you and how they work, and really more of the nitty gritty on the structure of them and where you would play in that world if you wanted to get involved. So go there, commission2cashflow.com, and that's some good information that you guys can have. So let's jump into the episode and catch up. Here we go. All right, Josh, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on today. I'm excited to have the conversation with you and talk real estate, talk your market, and just talk investing in general and what you're seeing. So why don't you go ahead and get started and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are in the real estate space.
Yeah, I work in residential real estate. I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Midtown Atlanta, actually in the city of Atlanta. I started in real estate back in 2003 in Athens, Georgia. My dad was a builder growing up, so it was a family business. So I was surrounded by all things real estate from a very young age. As you and I spoke a little bit earlier prior to recording, I was actually hell bent against getting into real estate. When I was younger, I would get in trouble, have to go to work with my dad. And being a heavier set kid in the South, it was not something I looked forward to. But, I started seeing the traction my dad had and the respect my dad gained from what he was able to do for different families. They were trusting him with the space they consider most sacred, where they spend all of their nights, all their days, their holidays, where they experience life. So that really spoke to me. And that's, eventually I ended up getting into real estate myself. My dad loves to tell that story.
Yeah, no, that's what you just said. You said get skinny in real estate. So is that what I heard you say?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. You said
so I was a heavy set kid in the South growing up, and then having to go to work with my dad. It was hot. I was not happy.
Got it. Okay. I thought you were like, I looked forward to it because it was making me get skinny or something. I didn't totally miss it. All right. Yeah. I remember growing up, my buddy's dad worked for a construction company, big like commercial group, and we would go and we were the grunts. Like we would not get paid, and we were running insulation, doing all kinds of things that. Oh my gosh! Just an extra hand out there.
I had to wash insulation off of me. That was itching to.
Yeah.
Very well.
So dad's a builder. Is he still in the business? He's still doing.
He's retired now.
Retired. Yeah.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm. What kind of product were you guys putting up? Was it custom? Was it track? Was it?
We did a little bit of everything. My dad did a lot of custom homes. He's a very detail-oriented builder. My dad was the type of man who wanted to be on the job, making sure everything was done correctly. My brothers and I kind of got into the business with him a little bit along the way, and that's when we started doing spec homes. One of the first projects I did, I bought an acre with an old home on it down in Athens, Georgia, close to the UGA campus. I subdivided it into 4 lots, built 4 homes. This is also right before 2007 hit. So I sat on 2 of those homes at a very young age for a couple of years, and it was definitely taught me a lot about the business. So
yeah.
You're right. When anyone says 2008, you already know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Is that, so were you already an agent at that time, or were you?
I was.
Okay. Okay. So that was, I didn't know if that experience moved you from like the development side into like, no, I'm just going to transact business and broker business for other people. So kind of curious.
That's kind of how it happened. I had a little bit of PTSD from everything that went on. My dad and I actually were getting ready to sign documents for a few $1,000,000 to build corporate apartments down in Athens. And a week prior to signing documents, four of the guys we were going to invest with ended up getting arrested for fraud back in 2008. So it was a very eye-opening experience for me, especially as a young agent. I was just licensed in 2003, so I've been licensed for maybe 4.5 years at that time.
Yeah.
Still getting your feet wet, if you will.
Yeah.
Especially from what I know now.
Yeah, it was the heyday. I was a loan officer back then, and so I just gotten out of college, and everybody could get like 4 loans at 4 different houses, and it's like like this. So I mean,
now everyone was not a good idea.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying on the brokerage side, I imagine it was pretty steady. Like you guys were selling and selling quite a few houses back then, because we were doing a ton of loans. Maybe it was a bunch of refis. I don't know if it translated into your business.
Yeah, I mean, 2007, 2008, the market pretty much stopped.
Oh, for sure. I'm talking about like 2003, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, those.
Oh, yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I was also a brand new agent in 2003. I literally had just gotten licensed.
Yeah. At the time, were you selling most of your family's product? Like, your dad would build and you'd sell? Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So let's fast forward a little bit. All right. So you're out of the financial crisis, right? And you are, when did you get into, are you a broker now or are you?
I'm not a broker now. I actually work for Engel & Volkers Atlanta. It's Josh Moss Real Estate and Engel Volkers Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I have a resale side to my business. I also have, a new construction side to my business. And I also have a small team that I work with as well. Okay. So I have assets to my business. As far as, the multifamily thing, I haven't dipped my toe into that. I do help a lot of my clients in that space. But personally, I don't invest in that space. My goal in the industry that I'm in, and obviously in real estate, is to provide the value to people who are just not getting into the business and not knowing what to do. Because that's who I used to be, and you're best equipped to help someone that you used to be, and that is a new agent. I partner with newer agents that I don't partner with just anybody. I do a pretty heavy interview process. They interview with me, they interview with our CEO at Engel Volkers Atlanta, and then they come back and they interview with me again, just to get an idea of how eager they really are and how badly they want to be in the business. You can't get in this business just to want to cash a check. You're not that's very long.
No.
You got to come out with a different mindset than that.
It looks easy from the outside. Oh, you just signed a few papers and now you sold a house, and what else did you do? But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I agree. So having somebody, it's almost like I don't know, if you want to convert to Judaism, you have to go see the rabbi like 3 times. It's like you have to really want it.
Because if you're going to take my time, and what I do is I allow the team members I bring on, I allow them to leverage my experience, leverage the listings that I have, and leverage the business that I've built myself to give them credibility.
Yeah, for sure.
They have me on their side. So if I'm going to spend my time with you, you better be ready to put, foot to the pavement.
Yeah, for sure. So what does your team look like? You've got how many on it? And like, what's your transaction volume?
I started with 3. One of my first agents, she ended up going into commercial real estate. That's not a space that I'm in at all. I have 2 other agents that I work with currently. Right now, I have a project, J5 on Juniper. It's a new construction. We work with a large developer. The whole project itself is over $94 million worth of homes. Right now, at that Closeout Enclave, a Peach Memorial, which is a new construction community too, that was over $7 million. Right now, in active listings, we have over 4 million, and pending and closed over 2 million.
You're like looking right down at your stat sheet. I can see. Like, yeah, I got this.
I wrote that down.
That's right. Yeah, I saw the J5 on your site, and I was taking a look at just the idea, and so I didn't know again if that was your family's building that, or if that is that. Okay, so you're working with the developer, and you're listing the units inside.
Yeah, the company I work with, Engel Volkers Atlanta, we do a ton of brand new construction. We're the number 1 brokerage for new construction in Atlanta. We work with a lot of large developers, and I was lucky enough to be, handpicked by our CEO, Krista Hustickler. So props to her. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
She takes care of me.
Yeah. That's a good shout out. Well, that side. Okay. So that's pretty cool that you guys are working on that. And so what's the goal for the year? You guys, the last few years kind of exploded, and everybody has really, it's slowed down. You and I were talking just a minute ago, you're seeing an uptick in the spring is sprung type comment. So what is it looking like for the rest of the year? Are you guys taking down? Are you hitting your numbers that you're trying to hit, or what do you guys think?
I'm actually hitting well over my numbers I'm trying to hit.
All right.
I'm kind of trying to get my wits about me a little bit, but no, I mean, like in Atlanta, we are set to lead the real estate market in 2023. The National Association of Realtors took all of the major metropolitan cities in the nation and set them up against 10 key metrics. Atlanta is the only city in the nation that met all 10 key metrics. So, right now we had the market slow down a little bit with the interest rates kind of going up and going down. And we're in a state in this country where we have an information overload, but we have a lack of knowledge. And that's kind of where I come in to provide that knowledge, to provide that value of not clickbait and what's actually going on in the market. And being able to explain that knowledgeably and educate your consumer is key. Because like I said, we have a ton of clickbait, we have a ton of information, but getting accurate information and real knowledge is pretty hard to come by. Yeah.
So what are you seeing move right now? We, just as a side note, we closed on a 170 unit apartment. I had it up a minute ago. It's like on the southeast side of town. Yeah, just outside 154. I don't know. You described the loop, Campbelltown Road, somewhere down there, Colonial Hills area. And yeah, it's in all the stats that I was looking at for Atlanta was killing it. A buddy of mine, he buys industrial, and he's been heavy in Atlanta, like nonstop in Atlanta, buying a bunch of stuff up.
Areas in Atlanta that just got rezoned to light industrial. Interesting. I have one of my investors. He actually flips properties. Well, he's my investor now because the last agent he was working with and contractor, they did not do their due diligence when they told him to purchase his home. The builder he chose to use tore down the entire structure, not pulling the right permits, not knowing that it was rezoned light industrial. So when he tore down the entire structure, that single family home, which is on a street full of single family homes, then became a light industrial space because they could have left up one wall, and they just weren't doing things correctly. Again, full of information, just no real knowledge of what actually to do.
So what is he doing with that? Is he turning it into an industrial space or what?
No, we got it rezoned.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. That process is fun. So we're proud to be sponsored by Ridgeline Investment Group. Ridgeline has a track record of transacting more than $53 million in assets throughout Texas. Ridgeline's currently looking to acquire 100 to 200 unit Class B multifamily communities between 5 and 20 million in San Antonio, Temple, Waco, Tyler, and other Texas secondary markets. To learn more about Ridgeline Investment Group, visit www.ridgelineig.com. I want to ask you about some of the tactics that you're using. So again, one of the big things about what I'm trying to drive value here is we have other agents listening from around the country. I'm interviewing some from around the world actually, and it's an interesting time because of the rate increases, but there are some tactics and some things that are just tried and true. They always work. So what are you guys doing right now that is winning you more business?
You have to have a digital presence. That's key right now. Everyone goes online before they do anything. Everyone's going to Google. Everyone that they use Bing, Yahoo, typically it's Google. But you have to have an online presence. Social media is key. Doing video, letting people see your face, building your brand. That's key. And knowing your market, providing knowledge to your consumer is key. I mean, we have agents in our office that have built their business solely on social media. It is crucial to have a digital presence. That's the main thing.
What are you seeing that's working then? I mean, because again, I've seen and watched and seen I was talking to a guy the other day. He's like, just filming yourself in front of a house and saying like, "Hey, I got a new listing." It's like, is that working? Or
that's not providing value. I mean, granted, I got a new listing to you. I mean, it's value to someone who may want that listing, but it's not value to the masses.
Correct.
Provide value to the masses. For instance, different loan options for people that are scared of rates. If they can do a 2-1 buy down, have an interest rate that's a little lower with the option to refinance in the future, that kind of thing, or different situations that you have come up with your listings or with inspections and how to handle those different objections that come up. Those are things that are going to provide value to your consumer. Just saying, well, hey, I got a new listing. That's great. But I mean, you're providing value for the small group of people that may want that listing or may want that.
Here's a tip, just taking to expand on that. If you are going to sit in front of the camera and go, "Hey, check it out, I got a new listing. By the way, this is what I just found out about this listing. It's X, Y, and Z, and this is how it helps you." Maybe something like that is much more of a value add. and or like, hey, this listing is awesome, and the loan products that my loan officer said we can get for this thing are X, Y, and Z. You guys should check it out. Something like this may work for you. Yeah, I love it. Good value add. So social media, are you guys really dialed in on your social media stuff?
We are. Well, I mean, I was. I've kind of taken a little hiatus trying to build a team, and I've got a lot of things pending at the moment. So I haven't been as present on social media as I would like. It's something that I'm kind of procrastinating on just because I've gotten so busy, but it's something I have to carve out. But yeah, it's definitely something that has drawn me business for sure. Yeah.
It's something I'm working on heavily now. I've never been big into it, but it's like, got to hire a guy to help. I
mean, I'm 42 years old. I text my niece. I'm like, so, hey, TikTok, what do you do with this? And she's like, yes, to me. She She will edit it for me and send it back. And I'm like, my 2-year-old niece.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm 42 though. I mean, I don't know like TikTok that well. I mean, it's, kind of a foreign land for me, but it's also why you surround yourself with people who are not like you. A lot of my agents, or both of my agents now that I have on my team now that I'm working with, are both much younger than I am, but they bring a different aspect to the table. They help me from a different point of view. They bring a different demographic to the table as well. So, I mean, it works. Yeah, for sure. I literally we're launching a brokerage here as well. And I've been a broker for years and years and years, always focused on the investment side. And now finally some old coworkers of mine, when we were doing the fix and flip deal, they're like, hey, let's do a brokerage. So anyway, I literally just found this. It's a platform that we're using that you can integrate TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, like any forms, anything you do on Messenger, any of these things, you can actually integrate to where you're communicating with all of these things in one spot. And so you might have to send me that.
Very cool. Yeah. It's
a little easier.
Yeah. It's nurturesales.com. But yeah, it's something that we can definitely talk about, just because for me, getting back into it and starting to set all these things up and having them and talking to them about it. So makes life a little bit easier when you have one central place where all the communications are happening. So
absolutely.
If you didn't know that you could make TikTok forms, because I didn't know this until I saw this thing, but you make TikTok forms and people can fill out their lead information on that form and go straight into your CRM. So do that.
I do every day.
Yeah.
I had to write that down. He saw me. I was like, trying to.
Man, I'm learning all this stuff, and again, it's awesome because I get to talk to guys like you, and you got ideas, and then it makes me think through like, okay, we really need to implement this. So, all right, so there's some good stuff, and one thing I liked about Ingo Volkers when I was chatting with another guest that I had on, at least for them, I don't know if this is like a company-wide thing. Whenever somebody closes, you guys have some like ridiculous, like nice package or something you give to them. Am I wrong about that? Or is it just within theirs?
I mean, my closing gifts are, pretty nice. They're not the typical package. I mean, they would get ordered from Tiffany's, but
no. It was like a box or something. I don't know. Maybe he made them himself or something.
It might be something custom he did. Yeah. Okay. We have a partnership with Tiffany's as well, and that's where my closing gifts typically come from. Unless I find something like, I build a relationship with these people and there's something specific that I want to get.
That's super nice though. So what does that look like? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here. I don't know if you want to give away your secrets, but.
As far as closing gifts that I've done,
what is it? So you have a partnership with Tiffany. So you get a discount on things that you.
Yeah. So the Ingo Volkers has a partnership with them, and we get a discount just for using Tiffany's and sending our closing gifts.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm just wondering how you're swinging Tiffany's on a $300,000 sale. Like, what the hell?
I mean, you look at don't tell my secrets, Jesus. But you can send champagne flutes, like just a two if it's a couple. Yeah. I mean, if it's a couple, a set of two like tumblers or the champagne flutes or red wine glasses. You can get them for like $120.
Oh yeah, that's solid. Yeah. And then the Tiffany's blue packaging, I'm sure.
Yeah, it just comes very nice. It comes in the bag. It comes with the box and the little bow. I mean, it's a nice presentation. But I've done things. I have clients too that a lot of client agents here in Atlanta, like I only sell $1 million homes and what have you. But my job is to help people build wealth in real estate. Because people don't understand that most millionaires are built in like buying and selling real estate. I've had clients who bought $200,000 homes, they remodeled it, and now we sold it for $550. So I, got them a cool picture of the old home, what it used to look like, the blueprints and that kind of things, framed it, just so they have like memorabilia.
For sure. Like yeah, very personalized too, so they can have something for me.
I mean, memories that they've worked hard on building wealth in their life and in their home. So that means a lot to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of chat about that. I'm building wealth and investing and all of that. I love the way you framed it. I think it was on this and before we even started recording, you were saying I want to invest in the people around me. So you're very much about like growing a team and investing your knowledge into others so that they can become wealthy themselves. That's investing, just like buying a house and trying to flip a house, right? If you're building a team around you, you're growing a business. And so like, what are your plans, or what's your long-term vision? You know, are you trying to grow like this massive thing? Are you just trying to keep it small and you guys are tactical, or what's your vision there?
My vision eventually would be to have my own brick and mortar location with my team, and providing that value and seeing people that like I did bring on to my team and seeing them succeed, because when they succeed, I succeed. Like we had spoken before we started recording about, you know, a lot of people want to hop on these bandwagons in real estate. First it was wholesaling that got oversaturated. Now it's multifamily. I mean, and I'm not saying these things aren't great, because they are. I mean, there's a great avenue for everyone to go down. And, you know, you have these millionaires, billionaires that are saturating social media with, oh, I can make you $1 million in a day. And, you know, they are providing value. They're providing a great education for people. And that's my plan, is to provide a great value and education for people, for newer agents, because that's exactly who I used to be at one point. And I'm best equipped to help that person be who they want to be and become the agent they need to be, in order to be successful in the business. Yeah.
So again, it sounds like you're looking to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as size of the team right now, I have a couple of different avenues that I'm exploring within my brokerage. I love where I work. It's literally like a family. You're talking about being collaborative. You know, being in business in 2003, I've worked for a few different brokerages. A lot of it in this industry is cutthroat. People don't want to share their ideas. They don't want to share, you know, things that they've experienced in the past, because they think, oh, someone's going to take my business. And that's just not how we operate at Engel Volkers Atlanta. I mean, and we had a huge work event down in Miami where all like a ton of it was like 1,500 agents came down that were all Engel Volkers and to Miami, and everyone seems to work that way. You know, I have had situations in other brokerages where I was looking for a good photographer. I had friends that like were agents in these offices, and I was like, hey, do you have a good photographer, good videographer? They're like, oh, I just don't want my guy to get too busy. And I'm like, you realize you work in the referral business too? Like, you're keeping money out of this man's pocket. What? So, you know, it's the office I work in. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. Being a broker within my office and creating some sort of training platform there for newer agents to come through would likely be a direction I would head before I would start my own thing. Yeah. That's
very similar sentiment from the prior Engel Volker guest that I had on. He loved it. He set up 2 brick and mortar shops, very strategically located, but he commented about how well he was mentored through the group, through the brokerage on finding those locations and what he could do. So a lot of good feedback there for Engel Volkers. Yeah.
They're to me, they're unmatched. So or at least we are in Atlanta.
So tell me about Atlanta, what's happening in the market there. You said Midtown. So
Midtown. That's one neighborhood. So like inside the perimeter is the main source of my business. Like I've said, I've sold like homes north toward the mountains as far south as Jonesboro. But inside the perimeter is my main focus. We have seen a huge uptick in activity. We do, like I said, like a lot of new construction sales. We have sales centers that people can come into on a daily basis. We've seen a huge uptick in the people that we're seeing. We were seeing over the past couple of months, maybe 5 to 7 pieces of traffic. About pieces of traffic, I mean 5 to 7 customers coming through the door. And over this past weekend, I think I had 12 or 13 people come through. Yeah. So it's doubled, actually more than that. So
yeah,
the spring market has definitely sprung here in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and you guys, were they selling in the development? Are they selling houses, like single family detached, or are they townhouse style, like joint wall?
I mean, so right now, the project that I'm working on right now is all condominiums.
Okay. Yeah.
My retail business, I have townhomes, I have single family homes, I have condos, but the new construction project I'm on right now is all condos.
Yeah. Very cool. So let's see. I'm kind of curious on the development side. Again, are you taking that direction? Like you're staying in the brokerage world, and you're like, I got to play around with seeing my dad do development. I'm not going back into that world. Or is there some like itch you're going to scratch at some point and say, okay, I'm going to take down another fourplex and sit on two houses for 2
Yeah,
years.
Right. No. The company I work for is, I get inspired every day I go to work. We changed the skyline in Atlanta. Our CEO, her husband is a large developer with Selig Enterprises. They also partner with companies or conglomerates like the Rockefeller Group, also who did the Google building, which is the Epicurean Hotel at 40 West 12th here in Atlanta. J5 as well, which is a mid-rise, just 6 stories. We also have another project, 788 West over in West Midtown, which is another high-rise. So when you go to work and you drive through the city and you literally see buildings that like your company has built, it's very inspiring. And I want to see my name on the building one day.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So you're 42. You got, this is kind of the same conversation I have with myself. You look around, you're like, yes, I want to have my name on a building. That is pretty much why we got into real estate.
But yeah, now that I've seen what I can do and what is possible.
Yeah.
My dad was a good old boy from the country. We're from North Carolina and Hayesville. It's a very small town, like this big, and has one red light. He did very well for himself and for our family. I grew up very well, but seeing what else is out there and what else is available and what the ability is that I have, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say we just sold a 14 unit townhouse development project that we bought the dirt, got it fully entitled, sold the dirt. And that process, it's like, you need 10 of those in your pipeline in order to be getting something going.
And that's the thing, man. It's like a lot of your real estate agents too, they're like, wanting to build wealth and investing and this, that, and the other, and they want to do it and wanting to do it quickly. It's like similar to the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise won the race because he stayed steady.
Yeah.
There are deals that I have now that I was working on 2 years ago. It's just, you have to stay steady. You have to follow up your fortune's in the follow up.
Yeah.
If you don't follow up, you just think things are going to fall into your lap. You are going to sit there and try to figure out, maybe I should wholesale, maybe I should go multifamily, but if you stay consistent with what you're doing, it will eventually unfold. It's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
But you have to be consistent. You have to be tenacious about it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Real estate is a slow. You could find the quick hits on the wholesale style of things. The brokerage side, it's relatively quick. But it's all active income. If you are looking to grow a large brokerage, even, it is exactly what you just said. You're building relationships, you're planting seeds, and you have to be in it for the long haul, 100%. And that, luckily, the team that we're putting together, they are that they've been steady and true, and everybody knows one of the people coming on. It's not released yet, so we're kind of keeping it. We're not saying anything about it yet, I guess.
That's kind of how we are. The EV or Engel Volkers. It's you kind of have to be referred in by someone that isn't already at the brokerage.
Yeah.
Just because it's an easier interview process, and you have someone that vouches for you. And there are people that haven't known someone that has come on board, but that's typically how it goes.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you about you said you have some investors and some I'm just curious about the Atlanta market in general for the investment side, either single family or some of these developments. On the single family side, what's a typical deal, like a base hit, I guess, for an investor looking to buy something and either rent it out? Are you making money on condos there? Like, are they cash flowing if you're actually investing in something?
You can with condos, it's going to be a little bit harder to make the passive cash flow that you're wanting to make. With a condo, you're typically going to have a lease permit. And lease permits are a commodity here in Atlanta. So with a lease permit, you can lease your home out, the condominium out whenever you would like. Without the lease permit, you can't do that. And lease permits are, like I said, a commodity. So you're looking at spending between $10,000 and $20,000 for a lease permit. And if you want to buy at 40 West 12th, the lease permit, it's over $100,000 for the lease permit. So with the condominium, you're typically going to hold on to that property and watch it appreciate and use the appreciation. Whereas your single family homes, you can find something that needs a little bit of TLC, and then you'll have that positive cash flow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Condo market in Texas or San Antonio, not in Texas in general, but in San Antonio is not, it's almost non-existent. It's coming up a little bit now. We've got a few buildings that are going up. So nice. That alone. So I'm assuming that the lease permit is coming from the condo association. It's not from the city.
The developer who builds it. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We have rental caps here in Atlanta. It's 25% in some of them and 45% in others. And when you come in to purchase it, like from a new construction, a new development, you do have to purchase that lease permit at the time that you purchase the condo.
So you can never, once you buy it, you can never lease it if you don't already own it. If you haven't bought that lease permit from the day you close, excuse me.
Correct. Unless you can find a loophole in HOA docs, which I have done a couple times for people.
My man.
I'm going to make a deal happen now.
Yeah, that's
different documents. That's key too.
Yeah. That's why you hired Josh. So, I mean, is the I guess in Midtown, is it more condo than it is single family?
Yeah, I mean, your single family homes here in Midtown are going to be probably 650 and up. So your condominiums are going to be more affordable for the average person here in Atlanta. We do have neighborhoods like Reynoldstown, Kirkwood, East Atlanta, West Midtown, where you can find more affordable single family homes, which they're still close to the city center, but set out just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So then on the development side, and you guys are putting these things up. So the new J5 development, these guys are, you said it was 90? Is it 90 doors? Something
no,
like
the project as a whole is about 94 million.
No, 94 million. That was the number. Yeah. So again, and that 129 homes?
149 homes.
Is homes or condos? Are they?
We call it, so we don't call them condos or units.
Okay.
They're going to be it's going to be someone's home. So when we, I don't allow my salespeople to say unit or that condo. It's going to be someone's home. It's how you pitch it to somebody.
For sure. I mean, it's all
159 condos. Yes.
Yeah. The language. I'm just, for my simple brain, I'm like, hang on a second. It's like, are they detached or not? Okay. So they're in a deal. And so these developers, I mean, are you seeing a lot of these types of developments still coming online? Is there any fear of oversaturation, or are you guys still having some sort of housing shortage?
Yeah. So right now we have about just under 2 months of inventory on the market. If people don't know what that means, it's like if there was not a home listed after today, in 2 months, we would run out of inventory to sell. But we have a lack of inventory, so technically, based on the stats, it's a seller's market here in Atlanta. But given everything that's going on with the economy and all of the lack of actual knowledge, people are very hesitant. We're seeing buyers take a little bit longer. I mean, I had someone come back through J5 that had visited 6 months ago and is now just making a purchase. So we are seeing buyers now taking their time, doing their own due diligence. They're not jumping at every single home that comes on the market just because the rates are not where they used to be. Yeah, never going to see 3% again unless we have another global pandemic.
Yeah. So I think there's a normalization, people finally getting it through their heads. So that person that 6 months ago looked, they are now in a worse rate environment as they purchased, And so, that's a lesson for any buyer. It's just buy it. The rates back in the 80s, 18,
Gosh,
70s,
18%.
Yeah. So it can happen, and don't necessarily wait. But I've seen that, it's kept people out of the market, slowed it down for sure. So yeah, let's talk. Again, investing on the investing side. I'm very curious. You're taking a lot of, I guess, active income, and what are you doing with your money? I'm just curious. I'm looking. You sold.
I do a little bit of investing in cryptos and stocks and things like that, but that's not my main focus. It's not something I'm very fluent with. I have a CPA that does a lot of that stuff for me, so that I have that on that end. My focus really is on my team and where I work, and helping this brokerage grow is something that is also a goal of mine. I get back to the basics. When people start, the market's going to crash, the market this, market that. I mean, that's honestly when I buckle down and bullets forward. It's because everybody else is going to get scared. All these new agents that got into the market because of what was happening in 2020 and 2021, they're not going to last because they got into it. They thought it was going to be great and easy. It's not great either. They got into it because I want to make my own schedule. I'm like, you realize you work for the people that your clients, like they are your boss technically.
Yeah.
You have to be available when they're available, especially as a new agent. You've got to build your business and build your brand, and being available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year is going to be what it's going to be for a while.
Yeah, for sure. It is. And that is why I have this show. So that it's not like that for
I know. I'm thinking about starting my own podcast. I'm like, thinking of a
this show, I mean, doing a podcast is it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It's another job essentially. It's fun. Yeah. I enjoy it. I love having these conversations. I get to know a lot of people around the country, and that's the whole purpose of it, just to educate.
And that's just it. Like anything you decide to do as far as making an income, whether it's passive or not, it's going to take work. It's going to take a little bit of effort, whether it's multifamily. Like I've listened to a couple of the podcasts when I had a chance, and, I get other people that, they bought into multifamily, they renovated some stuff, they updated some stuff, the repairs they have to do, they have to maintain the tenants. Like you don't just buy the building and money just starts coming in. You don't just sit there and collect.
Yeah.
So you have to pick something that you're passionate about and that you truly believe in, and then put the effort behind it. And that's where your income is going to grow.
For sure. The counter that I have to that is that if you are investing in those deals and you're not actually acquiring them, then that is when it is becoming a more passive deal. Limited partners in syndications, they are making the decisions, they're investing their dollars. And so again, I would back to what are you doing with your money? If you are, I don't know, I was on your site. It looked like you closed like 3 or 4 deals last week alone. I'm like, man, yeah, you're crushing it. All right. So you got a lot of active income. You got to put it somewhere. And so if you start putting it into any type of real estate as a real estate professional, you get like favorable tax benefits from these deals. And so your pop, I'm sure your pop, he's like,
with like a lot of my investors too, with the history and the education and like the knowledge that I have of the business and the industry and the home building process, I do a lot more than just act as their agent. Helping them through the process of flipping a home, that type of thing. I don't just make money off of the commission. That would be silly. Yeah.
So I was going to say, that's got to be a huge leg up in having, because I know it is for me. Like I've rehabbed a bunch of houses, and so it's easy to go in and see a house and be able to convey that information and knowledge to your agents that are working with you, so they can go in and see something that they may otherwise miss.
Right.
So have you've advised, I guess, some of your clients on how to rehab a house or how to build a house or something like that? Is that what I got from that?
Yeah, absolutely. When you pull up to a home and I can spot at best siding from, 20 miles away. And people are like, oh, this is a perfect project. No, it's not. This is going to cost you exponentially a lot more than what you think is going to cost you. Yeah. Or when you look at a roof, you can tell if a roof is good enough about how old it is. I can tell people how to gauge that, how to look at a roof and tell about how old it is.
Yeah.
Looking at insulation in a home, that type of thing. Looking at the floor system in the home. Is it 12 inches on center versus 16 inches on center? What does that mean? Those types of things. A lot of people they don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Asbestos siding, man. Remediating that is always, yeah.
The tenant part too, doing the multifamily investing. I've helped my clients. I've had to go to court with a few clients to get people out of homes. The syndication piece that you're talking about is probably the route that I would end up going.
It is a hands-off model for sure.
Yeah, I love hands-off.
Yeah, your work comes up front. So it's probably the same. I imagine these guys that just did, so J5, they just did a $95 million project. I imagine if you are working with them, you could talk to them and say, hey, how do I get in on this deal in some form or fashion, either raising capital or can I invest or whatever it is. And then you can become part of some deals that they're doing, depending on if they're syndicating or if they just have in-house money that they're using to do their project.
There's a group of people that invested in the project. I've worked with a couple of developers too. And getting in front of them and being in front of them, you learn so much from being in that space that you know otherwise. It's an education within itself.
Yeah. For you, it would be like an easy way of just, one, you're selling their product, so you believe in it already. And so if you're getting not only the commission from the sale, but you're also a part of the deal. I don't know if there's any conflict there. Obviously, look into that, but yeah, let's get to it.
There's so many avenues you can go down in real estate.
For sure.
The thing is getting someone that you know and the trust to be a mentor. And that's what I provide. Just because I know how hard it was for me to get started and get to where I am today, and providing that value is going to be where it is where I make my money.
Yeah. And your biggest impact. So what's your best advice then? So if you got a new agent coming on, he's coming to join the Josh Moss team, what's your best advice to them to get activated and
get ready to work?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the no, because the no's going to get you closer to that next yes. You have to take a couple of steps. There's an onboarding process with our brokerage. You got to learn some new systems. You got to learn a CRM. To me, being in sales since I was 15 years old, a CRM is crucial. If you're not using a CRM in real estate, if you're a resale agent or a new construction agent, no matter what you do, you can't remember everything every single day. It's impossible. If you think you can, you're wrong.
Post-it notes.
Oh yeah. This whole room will be covered with Post-it notes.
Yeah.
I would not work for them.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a database. You need to be like people say fake it till you make it, but I mean, you've got like I help people build that confidence and being able to speak to people knowledgeably and give them the knowledge that they need to be able to speak to their friends and their family about real estate. Because that's the biggest hurdle to get over, especially with me when I got into real estate. My entire family knew everything about real estate. I mean, and I was just getting into the business, and I'm just trying to listen and pick up on keywords and get enough confidence in myself to be able to speak to other people about real estate and let them know that I do know what I'm talking about. And that's one thing that I don't know about any other market, but it's all agents in the Atlanta market are not created equally. And you can get yourself into a lot of trouble if you're not careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so education and do the work. It sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, you need a database. You need to be able to create a database of at least 75 to 150 people minimum. And you've got to be able to be willing to farm those people.
Man, iPhone, you just go download all your contacts, put them into your CRM.
Exactly what I do with everybody.
Got 1,000 contacts probably. There you can just start prospecting. So
yeah, I mean, I have an agent that just started this year, and he's working on about $3 million worth of deals right now, just from doing what I told him to do.
Yeah,
and
that's solid. Yeah, solid. It is. I mean, it is ultimately do the work. My wife is starting to do rehabs, and
nice.
And we were literally having a conversation yesterday, and she's like, maybe I'll get my license as well, and I'll come join the brokerage team and do this and that. And I was like, what do you want to do? If you want to be flipping houses, just focus on that. Just go do the work. All you got to do is reach out to 50 wholesalers, and then you're going to have a deal, right?
But wholesalers reach out to me once a day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Which I mean, honestly, the first was kind of annoying, but now I mean, with the investors that I have, it's great because I mean they're wanting to sell the property, and my investors are wanting to flip the property. Yeah. And I do partner with a couple of them on some deals, depending on what the deal is and how comfortable I am with that person. So I do have my hands in a little bit of everything, but it's I'm not just on the resale side, but it's you got to keep your fingers in everything. You have to diversify your business to survive in this business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Are you partnering in are you loaning hard money type deal? Or are you partnering like?
No, I still have a few clients of mine that are NFL players, and they're wanting to do flips. They're wanting to do a couple of multifamily deals. And I am partnering with them in the future on a couple of their flips coming up. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I'll have to ask you about that and see how those go. Cause
I'll follow up with you, let you know for sure.
Sounds interesting. So, well, Josh, look, man, I appreciate you jumping on. It was a good conversation. I appreciate the knowledge you shared, telling us about Atlanta and what you guys are working on. Give me I guess I'll ask you a couple of questions just to wrap up that I typically ask everybody. So what is your favorite pastime not related to real estate?
Favorite pastime, being on the river in North Carolina with my family, just hanging out, spending time with them. That's my favorite pastime. That's my safe place. I go there when I need to decompress, de-stress. It's the Hiwassee River in Hayesville, North Carolina. That's where I grew up. It's my old stomping ground. So that's my favorite pastime.
Awesome. Sure. Are you? Is it like a boatable river? Or are you camping, or what are you doing?
Camping. Yeah. Camping. So my grandfather had a ton of acreage on the Hiwassee River. Passed away. He left it to my mom and her two brothers. So it's now family owned. It's in a trust, so you can't build on it. So when we go there, there's no electronics allowed. So it's just like the cousins, families, aunts, uncles. You have to spend time together. They, string beans and canned stuff. It's it's a good time, but that's awesome. Definitely, man. I look forward to going there when summer hits. I mean, smelling still air and concrete every day is great, and I love the city. But I need a couple of days here and there just in nature to decompress sometimes.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. That's my wife can see when I get like caged. She's like, you got to get out, go in the nature, man.
Man, the last time I went home, I was stopped at the Starbucks right before we get to my family's property. And I got so upset with this person that was in the line in front of me because she was ordering like 4 different drinks. And I was like, what is she doing? Why is she taking so long? I was so frustrated that I stopped and I was like, I don't have anywhere really to be. Why am I so upset with the fact that she's ordering her drinks right now? Yeah. It's because I was stressed about everything else and just trying to get there. Yeah. And that's when I realized, I was like, I've got to relax. Yeah. Because you feel caged, you're like, let me out.
That's right. For sure. Awesome. All right. So what's the best thing that's happened to you or your family last couple months?
The best thing to happen to me or my family in the last couple of months. For me personally, it's just the growth that I've experienced personally myself. I work a lot on my mindset. Jay Shetty's one of the podcasts I listen to a lot.
What was it? Jay Shetty?
Jay Shetty On Purpose.
Yep.
Great podcast. The Mindset Mentor is great. It's just the space that I'm in personally is one of the best things that's happened to me in a long time. My family, my niece is graduating and got into UGA. She's thrilled. She got a scholarship for fencing. So my family as a whole, we're pretty excited about that. Happy for her.
Yeah. Awesome. Fencing. That's not a standard deal. I have a buddy that he was in another mastermind with me and he was into fencing and he was just telling me about it. So it's like, it's fascinating just to see that. Good for her. Let's see. And then name one or two people who've been most influential to the way you think and the way you process or your success.
My partner, Brandon Davis, he challenges me every day in the best way possible.
Yeah, I was like in good, bad, and indifferent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But he's here for it, and we both do that for each other. My CEO, Christoph Stickler, she is not only my CEO and my boss, she's one of my best friends and mentors. The way she's guided me through a few situations that I've been in has helped me grow exponentially. And obviously my mom and my dad.
Solid. Awesome, man. It was good getting to know you.
Yeah, likewise, man. I'm on to follow up with you on the syndication stuff and learn some more about that.
Yeah, it's I'm going to put out a little like free, just, I don't know, some kind of course or something that's super short and easy just for agents really to, I don't know, get a high level, because I have these conversations and I feel like we end, but I don't feel like there's the full educational component of it. And there almost shouldn't be. Like you're in the business. So I'm not trying to like cram something down your throat. It's just a conversation. I'm like, why aren't more of us like investing in deals that we are like, in my mind, I have this vision where like agents, they come together and we are investing locally. Like you have,
we share knowledge. It's a crazy concept. Yeah. Some agents, it's like they're so guarded because like this industry has gotten so cutthroat, and they've got like we have this thought process of they can't take my ideas or my clients, and that's just if you've done your job, no one's going to take your business. Yeah,
it's an abundance mentality compared to the scarcity.
1,000%. Yeah, you nail on the head.
Yeah, and I mean I'm guilty of it in the past. I've definitely like guarded what I was working on in the deals, and I was like, I'm just going to do it, but. Man, it causes in my mind, and if you're doing a lot of work on the mindset, it causes a negative mentality and a very
mindset. And when you're not going to make money, it's fear-based. Everything you're doing is fear-based.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
Yeah, and it's very cynical. Like the lens you look at everything through is tainted essentially. So I've been doing a lot of work on that front as well. So it's good to hear that you. I'm going to pick up Jay Shetty's podcast. I'm always looking for something to listen to.
That and the Mindset Mentor, I mean, every single day. When I get stressed out, I can feel myself getting stressed, I'll just put one on.
Play.
I'm like, not today.
Speak to me, Jay.
Yeah. Talk dirty to me, Jay.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Well, Josh, again, thanks, man. It was good catching up, and everybody listening, thanks for jumping on. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Did you know that 80% of the agents we speak with got into real estate in order to gain passive income so they could obtain financial freedom and become work optional? If you want to stay up to date, the best way is to make sure you're subscribed. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do it now. We'll catch you on the next episode.